Good morning. So, I wanted to share with you a fun little book here on Epic Books that is going to give you a laugh and a little information about weight, since that's what we have been talking about in our math chapter. This is called On the Scale, A Weighty Tale by Brian P. Cleary, illustrated by Brian Gable. You'll notice that some of these illustrations are pretty silly, but they give you great information. A heavy backpack filled with books, a teeny paper kite, a friend named Kate who just turned 8. These all weigh something, right? Who can remind me what the word weigh means? Right, how heavy or how light something is. Weighing things is how we find the heaviness of stuff. A soccer ball, great grandma's shawl, and bags of pillow fluff. If you notice, the scale that the elephant is standing on is pretty big compared to a scale that we would use. Why do you think this scale that the elephant is bigger? Right, because the elephant weighs a lot. An ounce is just the thing to use for very light amounts. That slice of bread you've just been fed, it weighs about 1 ounce. So think about picking up a piece of bread to make a sandwich. Not so heavy, right? Look, here in the illustration, the mouse can pick the bread up with ease. 16 ounces make 1 pound, so picture 16 slices. They'd weigh around 1 single pound no matter what the price is. So now think about if you're at the store with mom or dad and you hold a loaf of bread, that weighs about 1 pound. You could probably carry it in one hand or under one arm, so not too heavy. The heaviest of things we talk about in tons, like trucks and trains of ducks and cranes, or freighters filled with buns. Think about it. Have you ever heard anybody say, "Oh my goodness, this is so heavy, this weighs a ton"? A ton means a lot, so something really, really super heavy, like a truck or a train or a big freight boat. A ton is huge. It takes 2,000 pounds to make just one. Cars and whales upon the scales are measured by the ton. So think about it. You couldn't pick up a car by yourself because it weighs about a ton. Very heavy. If you notice the illustration here, how can you tell by looking at the little men dragging the cement block? How can you tell that it's really heavy? Right? Their faces look like they're exhausted and trying really hard to pull it. A scale is the tool we use to weigh things small and large. Scales can measure a trunk filled with treasure, a crate or some bait, or a barge. A barge is just a name for a really big boat. Now, if you notice here, there's a scale like we would have in our bathroom where the boat is. A scale that you might see at the doctor where you have to move the weight over with your finger until it stops and gets to the right number. Or this over here, where there's a mouse on one side and a big animal on the other side having an ice cream cone. This is called a balance scale. Mrs. Tolan is actually going to show you something really fun this morning that she made at home with her daughters that acts as a balance scale so that we can experiment and weigh things. Having more fun than just one way to measure weight is best, so memorize each metric size and you'll pass any test. You don't really have to know these names yet, but it's just good to know. A gram is not a cracker, and it's not your parents' mother's. It's a weight, so get this straight, it's smaller than most others. So a gram is super teeny tiny. A dollar bill or paper clip weighs near 1 gram, you know. Inside 1 ounce, you can announce there's 28 or so. So grams are super teeny tiny, like a dollar bill or a paper clip. Those are things that you could probably lift with just a finger. Take 1,000 of these grams and kilograms the name. A quart of milk, 2 pounds of silk, each weigh about the same. 1,000 kilograms are what make up 1 metric ton. About as heavy as a Chevy, at least a smaller one. You've picked up lots of heavy words and now you know enough to teach a class because, alas, you've learned a ton of stuff. So a ton means what again? Right, something really heavy. Or in this case, if we learned a ton, it means we've learned a lot, a whole lot. So we're going to finish this up. You can take a look at some of the illustrations here and about how much they weigh. We're going to continue talking about measurement and weight in our Google Meets this morning. And I hope you bring your 2 items from your scavenger hunt so that we can practice comparing weights. See you there.